France-Italy, what a game. 35 points to 22. The Italians were good for their 22 points. The French, for 55 minutes, were brilliant. For the other 35 minutes, were indifferent and lost their focus and lost their way. Their penalty count went through the roof. But it was a very open, very exciting game, and tries were created from nothing by both teams. In fact, all the tries were absolutely brilliant. Entermac started the scoring with a penalty very early on. Then you had the Teddy Thomas try and the Olivan try. Entermac's goal kicking today went all over the place. It wasn't easy kicking conditions, but his goal kicking let him down from some very simple kicks. The penalty that he got bounced off both posts and over, so he really was having a difficult day with the boot. But the Minozzi try, if you're going to try and hold a guy up and for a long time and try and do the wraparound tackle and create a maul, stop the offload. It's a rugby league style offload from Tommy Allen, but it creates the overlap for Minozzi's try, and that is a brilliant finish. He played very, very well. He was a handful. The Aldrit try as well, he deserves that after the 2 games he's put in. He's been a real star performer in the back row for France. Olivan as well, getting another try. That's 3 tries in 2 games. He's one of the top try scorers right now. He's a flanker. It's 23-10 at half-time. Allen's also slotted a penalty. Italy are also very, very good for their money. They are testing the French, and they had massively improved from last week. They've gone back on the training ground. Their handling skills are a lot better than the French handling skills. The area they were getting let down in, breakdown. The French were winning the breakdown in the first half. But 23-10, it was a game that could go either way at this point. And the French weren't guaranteed victory at this point. The second half, Italy started better. They dominated large portions of the second half. They were the better team in my book. They really tested the French in defence. Lots of offloads, lots of good support running. They started changing their tactics, and they were really hitting the line at pace. And it was making the blitz defence have to work, and they were getting some joy in the wide areas, especially down Teddy Thomas' wing. They were really exposing him defensively. He was either coming in, he was shooting out the line, and there was overlaps. So Minozzi being on the wing instead of at fullback, Hayward coming into the line, it made it interesting to look at how the French were trying to deal with that, and they were getting a lot of line breaks down the French right. Entermac scores a try out of nothing, really. The French had been very indifferent at the second half. They had lost their focus. They had lost their intensity. So the Italians were winning the contact area. They were winning the breakdown. But Entermac's try comes off a line out. It's a scrappy line out, but he creates the try himself. And this is how the 2 French tries in the second half were created, where Entermac has to beat defenders. He has to spot the gap, and he has to beat several defenders, and that is a great try. But he missed a conversion, was in front of the post, so his kicking had completely deserted him. But the emotion on his face when he scores that try shows you how much that meant. He was clearly frustrated with his goal kicking today. It wasn't his best game, but that try, that's a great line run off set play. The Zani try, that's knowing the laws of the game. Touching the ball down at the base of the post. There was a long advantage for the Italians. I think the Italian backs knew this, that if the ball got turned over, they were going to have another penalty. Their set play was working better than the French set play. I think the French lineup was wobbling today, and the replacement hooker for BG, that's a player knowing the laws of the game. And the Italians had got the French really on their goal line, having to defend phase after phase after phase, and the Italians were patient, and they got a try out of it. Sarin's try, replacement scrum half, that's a quick tap and go penalty. That's all individualistic. Again, France have got that flair in their locker that they haven't had for a long time, that ability to think quickly on their feet. That's been lacking for a while. The players haven't been confident to try that for a long time. That was a brilliant try because he decides just to take on the whole Italian team, and it's an individual try, and it's quick thinking. He sees that the Italians are standing still, not ready for it. Great scrum half thinking there. And Gilbert, the replacement fly half, only 21, slots a very, very good conversion there. But then the Bellini try, the Italians wanted to go for that bonus point, losing bonus point or try bonus point. That is some great handling skills. They go down the French left. And Bellini had worked very hard all day in defence and attack. He'd done a lot of ball carrying, made a lot of tackles, saved a certain try from the French moments before, tackling Rattez. Rattez goes off injured. But that was a very, very well-worked try as well. They wanted to get that either try bonus point, go for a fourth try, or the losing bonus point. So the Italians were playing to the final whistle. They had put down a marker saying that we're better than our 2 results suggest, and they are. And some of the physicality and the handling skills of both sides was really, really good today. The French had more possession in the game, and so therefore they had more knock-ons. they weren't as dominant as they were against England. The intensity dropped off in the second half. They relied on two bits of individual brilliance to score their 2 tries. The Italian tries were team tries. That was a team effort from the Italians to score, and it shows there is life after Sergio Parise because he wasn't involved today. The Italians really upped their game. The French, their discipline was poor in the second half. Lots of silly penalties at breakdown, in the scrum, high tackles, silly penalties that are frustrating. I don't think Sean Edwards will be happy with that drop down in intensity. So how much energy do they put into that England game? Because they put a massive team effort into that England game. How much energy have they put into that? And the Italians really gave them a game and gave them a lot to think about. I don't quite think Sean Edwards has quite got his defence system right with the French. We know what his defence systems are like with Wales for so long, but he's working with new players and they've got to get used to the system. And there's a lot of young players in this French team. And I think some of that inexperience showed. On the Italian side of things, they got to work on the breakdown and supporting the ball carrier a little bit more. But you can see the green shoots of what they're trying to do. They were far better than they were last week. Their execution was a lot better, and they were willing to throw the ball around and run it. And playing with 2 fly halves, Carlo Cano trucked the ball up a lot. He had a lot of ball carrying, and he's a small. If you're going to have him at inside centre, he's a small inside centre by modern standards. He is a fly half. He did the dirty work. He put the tackles in. He did the runs. Tommy Allen, apart from that one kick out on the full that did lead to a French try, he was actually pretty good as well today. Much better game management by the Italians. They decided to run the ball back more than kick it. They knew the kicking conditions were a lottery. They obviously knew that the French back three are very, very good strike runners, so they decided to use their strike runners, and it did pay off. It was a fun game, really open. The French, they are top of the table with the amount of points they've scored and the bonus points, but there is still things to work on with this French side. This French side can only get better. It wasn't as good a performance, I don't think, but they can only get better. And that is what's terrifying. They could be a dark horse for this Six Nations. Only them and the Irish can now win the Grand Slam. And that could be a real crunch game, but they've got to play Wales next. And that could be just deciding, if the French can get a Grand Slam or Ireland are going to get a Grand Slam. That could be the title decider, is France-Wales. But there's still more to come from this French team, I think. They weren't at their best today, but not playing well and winning is something the French haven't done for a while. When the French don't play well, they normally lose. So they have turned a corner, and the Italians, they are still a tricky opposition, and Scotland have to be very, very worried about how they're playing right now and how the Italians play today. 2 weeks' time, that could be a wooden spoon decider, and I think the Italians might have a number on the Scots in that regard. I think the Italians are playing better, more confidence, and they are willing to throw the ball around. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you very, very soon.